I'm scared of being horribly hurt. I'm not scared of dying. Once you're dead, all your problems are over. But I quite like being alive, so I'm not keen to embrace it. And near-death experiences, I mean, it's all this, like this one time we were in this trench or bunker in place and things shot at us, but they didn't hit us, but they got really close, and some of them were very, very large explosive things. Like I had a fucking artillery shell literally pass in between me and a friend in a building and punch its way through the wall and go out of the other side of the building and then like land in the car lot and not explode. That's stuff like that. The most scared I ever was thinking I was about to get my throat cut, and it turned out to be a great big fucking deer that was just like my night vision wasn't working. And
Would you ever train British troops on drone use? Yeah, of course I would. But they haven't asked. And frankly, they're much better. Like, if the British Army wants people to train them in drone warfare, you know what they're going to do? They're going to ask Zelensky, listen, we need like 50 guys to train our guys on different sorts of drone warfare. And Zelensky, is going to go, well, either yes, of course you can have them, or we've got a bunch of wounded veterans who'd love to do that job on a private basis. There you go. And they all speak English, and we can provide proper translators, and they're going to be better at it than me.
Well, I think USC puts a lot of money into the military. Now, that doesn't bother me, I generally focus on what I'm doing in life. I don't walk around angry that other people aren't doing what I'm doing. That's the philosophy of a bitch.
Don't really like eating McDonald's. There's one in New Hampshire. McDonald's are a bumper-clot bunch of pussies at the end of the day, because they left Ukraine at the start of the war and ran off and didn't come back until like early 24 or late 23, I think. Whereas the Colonel, KFC, never left. The Colonel,
What pistols do officers get in Ukraine? I saw one of our guys with a Tokarev. Most people have got smoothbore Makarovs, which are, only effective used at about half a metre distance at a downwards 45-degree angle, and are otherwise good for 7 warning shots and a good hard throw. Like, imagine some horrible cunt like me coming at you like this, like, ah! Right, running at your full pelt.
I will be laughing.
And you've got a fucking Makarov. My money's on the blade. Tokarevs are great if you want to shoot yourself in the fucking leg, but they do zip through Kevlar really effectively. That 7.62 by 25, I think Tokarev's in, and good fucking round, But yeah, it's basically like a sort of Khyber Pass version of a fucking 1911 at the end of the day, with zippier ammo. But yeah, good armor pen.
There's another thing about sappers, right? All that shouting and stress that you associate with infantry types, or special forces types, and unfortunately a lot of them do, because a bit like people who've watched too much Gordon Ramsay and worked in a kitchen, they think it's what you have to do. Sappers tend to be quietly spoken, calm chaps at the end of the day. Don't AK or AR, I don't think it makes any fucking difference, basically. Probably an AKSU, because I'm a drone soldier, and it's small and convenient, packs a punch if someone gets into the building, and I'm fucking lazy, so I can probably just put like a little paper dust cover over the barrel and like not fucking clean it for about 6 months, you know what I mean? And I know it'll still run. So yeah, AK over AR, definitely. Although, yeah, it's all situational. If my job was suddenly, there's enemy a kilometre away, keep an eye on this patch of ground, then I'd go for an M4 over an AK any day. At that point, I'd much rather have a fucking machine gun or a DMR.
You fight the war with the weapons you have, not the weapons you want. If you come into Ukraine for a military purpose, I wouldn't bring much. The uniform they issue is good, and the various Ukrainian Miltech companies out there, like Ragrog, Ukra Armor, Unimo, are all making better, more modern, more modular, more well thought out armor systems and gear than much fucking cheaper than anything you can get in the rest of the world. So bringing military equipment to Ukraine to be ready for the mission, which is going to take 3 months or so before you enter in the country, finding a unit, signing the contract, is stupid. It's bringing coals to Newcastle. Anything military that you want these days, just buy in Ukraine.
While many people have come to Ukraine and put on a uniform, signed a contract, put on a uniform, held a gun, a much smaller number of those people have done any work of any fucking value whatsoever. There are thousands of guys who've come over here and run away at the first shelling, you know, and just moved from unit to unit to unit. Some of them basically just so they can keep getting fucking new uniforms and selling them back home. And you know, the guys who they keep banging on about how much they want to do CQB and how much they want to go on missions, but you know, the balls retract the minute that a bit of mortar fire comes in, or a bit of indirect fire. Loads of guys like that, from honest, well-meaning guys who unfortunately are genetically cowards to complete fucking scam artists. There's loads of guys like that. So just because you joined the Legion or just you came to Ukraine doesn't mean you've done anything of any fucking value. You know, if you didn't last longer than 6 months or a year in one unit, and you didn't leave because you got wounded, your contribution to that unit was more of a fucking inconvenience than a benefit at the end of the day. Facts. You know, not everyone who's come to help Ukraine, put on a uniform, held a gun, is a hero or even a good man or even anyone I'd sit down and have a fucking drink with. I think the UGVs are a fucking great idea, but I honestly think that smaller UGVs that can like go down into basements and detonate in there, or listen to see if anyone's breathing in the basements and stuff like that, are sort of the more, and then blow up and kill what's in the basement, are more relevant and better, generally speaking, than, you know, like putting a 50 cal machine gun on a big old drone. It's a big old target, that, mate. It gives off a reasonable amount of heat, especially when it's firing. If you want to stop a load of Russian infantry coming across, like literally a load of like fucking good quality off-road kind of kids racing cars with PM2 landmines strapped to the top would be better at stopping a swarm of Russian infantry than something with a gun. Like, I firmly believe that putting the 50 cals on it is kind of, people just are obsessed with guns on drones because guns are what you think are the best thing for killing someone, because guns are what's in films, you know, and ultimately bullets kill fucking hardly anyone in this war. It's all explosives and shrapnel, like 98% plus.
Have I had to use a compass? Yeah, used a compass many times at the front. Easy way to, quickest way to get a bearing that's more accurate than a point of a clock. And yeah, there are times when drones can't fly because of weather, and spotting scopes and compasses and stuff are nice bits of kit to have around on the position for those times.
Oh, east? I thought you said west.
West? What kind of compass are you reading, lad?
This one, sir.
That's west, Patrick. You're fired again.
Could I get a job as a drone pilot, not just with the FPV simulation, but if you came to Ukraine and did a course, you definitely could. And they are readily available things you can access as a civilian. Like, there is some vetting to do a course, do you know what I mean? But like, you know, they are readily available.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, the whole like, I just respect soldiers from either side. you know, and it's like, well, I mean, that's a bit like sort of being, you know, when the Second World War was going on and the Germans were like, you know, blitzkrieging all of fucking Europe, you didn't get to be an independent, non-biased reporter at that time. And you know, you can't just 1 minute be interviewing someone from a British tank regiment who's fighting the last defense, you know, and then pop across the lines to speak to SS Panzer Group Führer Hans Richter about how well things are going and expect people to think that you're not a fucking cunt at the end of the day. Because if your army is the one that's doing all the invading and, you know, the massacres and the fucking, you know, the Bukas and the Irpins and the Melitopols and Mariupols and what they did to people I know in Kherson under occupation, yeah, the whole like respecting the soldiers thing of both sides, stick that up your fucking arse.
Sometimes I get people from Britain who are reformers who are like, oh, why would you fight for such a corrupt Nazi country? And it's like, one, you don't know history. Two, fucking you don't know anything about your own country. Look at the fact that there's been roadworks. I mean, I remember saying to my dad when I was about 25, I was like, Dad, I've been driving since I was 17 and there has never not been roadworks on the M6, M5, M1 junction, ever. And he goes, there's been roadworks going on there since I started driving in the late 60s, you know. The corruption out the fucking arse in England, it's only accessible to you if you get up to member of the Rotary Club type level, you know, friends with the chief of police type level. The Colombians have been the most useful country that have provided high quality stormtrooper infantry to Ukraine. They've provided more men who are willing to do that brave job despite the horrendous casualties again and again and again, right? That's a fact. So we owe Colombia a lot. Whether they've, like, that country has historically or ideologically got a stake in Ukraine, they've done a lot. All the Colombians I've worked with have been hard-working, good soldiers who don't complain anywhere near as much as the Westerners. But yeah, Slava Colombia, they've done the men of Colombia's contribution to the Ukrainian war effort is not to be underestimated.
I can't believe that I was speaking with another veteran a while ago, and it's like we're looking back on 2022, like kind of nostalgically. You know, and it was fucking awful. It's fucking awful being up against loads of artillery when you've got hardly none, getting cluster bombed and shit all the time. But it's less terrifying than drones are. We had some infantry British dude with us. He's just a fucking cunt, basically, as many of them are. And yeah, he was like, oh, you fucking gave away our position. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you said there was tall trees by the position. It's like, have a look at the map of Kherson. Have a look at the map of any Ukrainian city. The Soviets fucking loved a tree-lined boulevard, and they loved a park as well. There's tall trees fucking everywhere. People have tall trees in the gardens. So saying that your position is near some tall trees is a bit like saying that your position is made of concrete. It's like, oh, fuck me. He's only narrowed it down to a couple of 100,000 locations now. They'll find us any moment. Fuck off. Oh, I said we had positions along the river once, and it's like, what? It's like when someone says something's over there, right? There is not a direction. It's not a place, it's not a time, it's not an angle, it's not a bearing on a compass. It's just over there. Have you even pointed in the right direction when you said over there? It means fucking nothing. So saying something is along or around somewhere is equally non-descriptive. But it's amazing how much you can make people who are technically trained military people's eyes bulge.
So if you want to get a realistic idea to be what it's like to you know, what it's like to be in the military, or just go to a forest basically and do nothing but stare across a river or at another hill for 4 days, right? And you only get to you have to work 3 hours out of 9, and just do that for 4 days, right? and see if you've got the fucking patience for it, because that's what being a soldier's like. You know, occasionally you might want to set off some really loud fireworks, like literally inside the trench with you, to give you a sort of approximation of what actual danger feels like, you know. So yeah, the military is largely boring work. Like, you know, I remember Brandon saying on one of his videos, you know, he asking a friend what he did in the military. He goes, I wait. Sometimes I wait for a few minutes, sometimes I wait for hours, sometimes I wait for days. But yeah, my principal role in the military is to wait, and that's most of what you'll be doing. And it doesn't matter if you are the fastest gun in the West or Mr. fucking Gunslinger. It's a big army and a big war, and you are not the unexpected special guest who's turned up to save the party.
The Germans did not fight well on meth during World War II. It was part of the Blitzkrieg to take France, and one of the reasons we got the army out, right, where Dunkirk happened, is they were gibbering fucking wrecks after 2 weeks. And if you think that it's like some fascist super gene they've got that means that they can just do meth for 2 weeks straight and not be a gibbering wreck by the end of it, then you have zero fucking life experience around people. And again, if it wasn't for meth, they probably would have fucking captured the whole of the British and French army, but they didn't, because meth. Yeah, it was odd. Some of the people in the comments were like actually getting annoyed when I said I had problems with both my gallbladder and my prostate. They were like, but they're in different places. It's like, did you know it's possible to have more than one health condition at a time, especially after a prolonged period of stress and body neglect, like being at the front for 2 years? Right, you know, medical experts. So